Okay, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to that podcast. It must be a Wednesday. This is a comic. This is a great one. Now, I did read this originally. Am I looking into this? I think this first issue that's in the collection came out like tail end of '85. That's what I'm thinking. Not 100%, but I think that's when it was. And probably within 2-3 weeks of coming out, I'm in the comic shop, and the owner knew me. I was 85, something like 10, 11. Comic shop owner knew me. He knew my pools to school. I couldn't afford any more comics. He's like, man, he goes, I don't tell you what to buy, but you might want to, like, for a few months here, drop that G.I. Joe and Transformers crap and read Daredevil again. He goes, you like for me? I was like, yeah. He goes, he ain't drawing it, but he's writing. I'm like, ooh. So I picked up the first issue, what became Borne Again, then read the whole thing, and I'll be honest, I dropped the title as soon as Miller was gone. Daredevil is one of the characters where I prefer one creator on him, and that's about it. So, this right here. This is the Premier Edition, which is a $15 trade now. It is smaller than a normal trade. There's a normal trade, Superside Squad. See, it's a little bit shorter, a little bit not as wide. That's why you can get this big-ass trade for $15. And I'm assuming because of the TV show, these are popping up in Walmart, so that's why I grabbed it. I'm like, okay, I got the issues. And I went and looked. The issues got a little bit of value to them. I remember some of them I got multiple copies of, but it's a pain in the ass to take the issues out of the long box. I prefer a trade. So, Frank Miller writing, David Mazzucchelli doing, and this is the recolored version. So we open up with a foreword by Charlie Cox, who plays Daredevil on TV show. We get and this is 2024. This one, an introduction by Frank Miller from Hell's Kitchen, and then we start. And this is what got me. Okay, I sat down the day I got this in and read these 3 pages, and I was hooked. And I knew the next time I started reading on this, I was not going to stop till I finished the actual comics in here, the storyline, and that's what I did. What it is Karen Page, Daryl's ex-girlfriend. Quite a while back, she left to go to California and be a movie star. Her career kind of floundered. She ended up doing some adult films, and she got hooked on heroin. And right here, she's selling out Matt Murdock. She's telling this dealer, look, I can tell you Daredevil's real name. Will they give me a fix? So she sells out Matt Murdock's for a fix. You see this information is kind of 6 weeks later. Just traveling all around, then Daredevil gets a hold of it. Kingpin, I love this line right here. Except for Wesley, of course. Wesley, he always sticks around for any last-minute order, which is why everybody's so nice to Wesley. Turn the yacht back to New York. Look at everyone who's touched this envelope or spoken to anyone who has and await the kill order. In the meantime, I shall test the information. 6 months pass. And Daredevil basically ends up losing everything. Like, his taxes, the IRS saying he ain't paying his taxes, his house, the mortgage ain't being paid on. He's lost his career. He ends up getting charged with supposedly I don't remember what it was. He has to go to the court. And he ends up losing his license, practice law. Ben Ulrich is looking into it. And Froggy is now falling in love with some woman that Daredevil used to date. This is the cop that said Daredevil lied. He comes in and he finds out this cop basically has a son that's dying and Kingpin's paying to kill the son. So you got Daredevil just going around beating up all these Kingpin informants. And look at this. Matt Murdock. Who's going to talk about Matt Murdock? And this is black and white only. So this is just the first issue. He is just ruining Daredevil. And this is Karen. She's ready to run. And then Daredevil's come back to his apartment and then his house. And then the last page. Look at that. And that's how it ends. He's finding the scraps. And man, when this came out and I finished, I'm like, oh shit, what's the next issue? A month. Oh man, I gotta wait 4 weeks. And it was probably longer because I could not get to the comic shop every month. Sometimes it'd be 2 months before I got in, but the owner was cool with us. So next issue, Purgatory. He's living on a flop house. Nobody really knows what's going on. He's down to his last $10. And Kingpin's just waiting. And he's getting ready to walk out there and go beat up Kingpin. He fantasizes about it, but it doesn't go. Something's stopping him. Then he ends up on a subway. And he's being followed. Like, Kingpin's guys are following him. And Daredevil's just losing. He's talking to everybody. Karen's trying to get back to the U.S. Ben Ulrich's investigating everything, and then we get this fight. I'm kind of surprised he did not beat Kingpin. I really am. He gets knocked out, put in the cab, and thrown underneath into the, what does it say? Pier 41 in the East River. Its safety belt and doors are corroded shut by a chemical process identical to Bruss. Is drenched in whiskey. A bottle laid open in his lap. Undercap beaten to death. And he gets out. The world seems flooded with sunlight. Daily business becomes a joyous, childlike game. He has disgraced, destroyed, and murdered the only good man he has ever known. That is his triumph of spirit. At last, the cab is discovered. There's blood and bloody evidence of struggle. There's a shattered windshield, a safety belt severed by the windshield's glass. What must have been a hideous effort. Well, there's no corpse. There is no corpse. There is no corpse. So Kingpin done known he fucked up. And Daredevil is coming back. And this is Daredevil. He's living with the bums in the alleys, and he's flashing back to when he got hit with the stuff, and his dad's talking to him. He remembers when he was healing this cross made of gold. There he is in the in the alleys. It's New York. Crime's gotten horrible. I love Foggy throwing the Foggy. I keep on calling Foggy. Foggy throwing the bowling ball at him. Ben's coming in and talk to the cops. Got the sick kid, and he's like, I know what's going on, but he won't say anything. We got Karen trying to steal money to make it back to the States. Daredevil gets hit by a car. Then his bum in a Santa suit stabs his ass. This nurse sees Ben talking to that guy, so she knows what's going on. And this guy agrees to take Karen to New York because he kind of knows he could take, with this information, he could take Kingpin down. So there's Daredevil on the radio. He sees but the nurse is beating up the guy. She breaks one of Ulrich's fingers and like, you're a writer. Without your hands, you're nothing. And it ends with Daredevil back in the gym. And then he's the gym he grew up in, he falls down. And this nurse comes to take care of him. There is no corpse. For 6 hours, this thought has been rising through his skull. The man he thought he's murdered. So recklessly, so painstakingly, relishing every precious step from Murdoch's ruin to emotional dismemberment. To that moment of savage ecstasy when the Kingpin's fist tore through him, cracking bone, the man he thought he murdered is alive. That's the issue, Born Again. Look at that cover. So he's keeping track. Now, Sister Maggie has, at this church in the middle of Hell's Kitchen, and he's recovering with the bombs. There's Karen making Kingpin's training, and everybody here is everything's just waiting. Where's Matt Murdock? And I love the panel composition in this. Like, the panel composition shows time passing. My name is Maggie. You're staying here. And Karen gets in touch with Foggy and ends up going to meet him. There's Ulrich talking to Jameson about a story, and he has to kill it. He's killing the Kingpin story, and this janitor lets him know that he's being watched. God beating her. He's doing like some bullshit stuff. And then on the phone, he hears this nurse strangling that cop, so he knows what's going on. And Daredevil, while he's here, he feels that cross. He realizes that cross he's got on, that's the cross that woman wore. And so he's struggling, trying to break the fever. Karen's meeting up with Foggy in this bar. There's the cross. There's the cross. There's Ulrich on the bench. And he takes the cast off his head. He's like, Matt Murdock. Because he told him, don't even think his name. He's like, Matt Murdock. So he knows what the fuck he's got to do. And Kingpin's telling this guy, look, maybe a Daredevil costume. Kingpin's up to something. Let me see here. It's a pleasant sentence, so much like my own. Give your thanks to the Lord, Maggie. Are you my mother? Of course not, child. A heartbeat can tell you a lot. Hers just jumped. She's lied. So his mother's alive. So we got Daredevil just practicing. He's training. He's beating the puncher bag down. Ben's getting as much information he can. He's trying to break this story. He goes back home. He's got a cop with him. His wife's been beat up. But this nurse is badass, man. That's like not Nurse Ratchet. That's Nurse Kill Your Ass with a ratchet. His wife's hanging from the shower. And Daredevil comes in and just whoops ass. And he gets the fuck out of there. And Daredevil tells this guy, look, make the costume. No one will be hurt. Pleasure to hear your voice, Daredevil. Well, he's going to check on Karen. Karen's trying to kick the heroin. There's a junkie guy that brought her up there. He starts fighting with the cops. And what it is Kingpin wants this crazy. He got this guy out of the nut house. He wants this crazy guy to go in the apartment and kill Karen and Foggy. Wear Daredevil's outfit. He'll get blamed on Daredevil. And then he's going to reveal Matt Murdock's Daredevil. It's the only thing he hasn't taken from him. He's taken everything else from Matt Murdock. He hasn't taken Daredevil. That's secret identity. He's kept that. So you got Matt Murdock, who's just recovered from almost dying. I love that right there. Look at that. Right in the throat. This is some of the most violent shit you'll see in a code-approved comic for the 80s. I love this. Karen's down here. She's fighting the guy. She gets the needle. She's ready to do it. An icicle comes off and hits the guy in the arm, and Karen drops the needle. And it ends with her hugging Matt. Matt's found her. As for me, like I told you, I'm a reporter. I'm going to find out where Matt Murdock is and what he has become. These last 2 issues here are my favorite of the entire anything Frank Miller's done on Daredevil. The 2-issue Nuke stuff is so good. Now, this is 86, July of 86. This is Nuke. He's a failed super soldier. Well, kind of failed. He was given the super soldier formula, and it worked on him, but he's crazy. He's also a methamphetamine addict. That's what the Reds he's popping is. And what he is, he's a soldier that the U.S. drops in a place where we're not supposed to be. He takes care of stuff. Sorry. And that's what's happening. He's down in Nicaragua. Give me a white to calm him down. And Fisk, sorry, Kingpin calls in some favors and gets Nuke. Oh, I'm sorry. Come to Hell's Kitchen. Give me a blue. And he's talking about, give me a beer. We don't carry the beer. We'll make sure it's American. So she's with the Daredevil outfit. I love this part. They're in the jail cell talking to that nurse. And this cop here is working for Kingpin and watch his shit. This one's just snapping pictures. And Ben Ulrich beats the fuck out of him with a pistol. Just pistol whips his ass to death. And Kingpin plays on this guy's mental illness. He's like, the boys, you got to save the boys. And that's Nuke's head. He was drilled in his head. He's non-air soldier. You got to save the boys. You keep your boys alive. Daredevil's working in his kitchen. And Nuke just starts destroying shit. She saves the costume. And then beat, thwack, spat, fap. I love faps, the sound effect in this. Give me a red. Then that panel right there. I was reading this last night. I read this last night. I got that panel. The girl was sitting next to me. She's like, "You've been awful quiet." I'm like, look. And she's like, okay, cool. She is a comic person, but not. I don't think she has a connection to him that I do. I'm not sure on that. The last issue, look at that. And this is basically Nuke and Daredevil just fighting each other in Hell's Kitchen. He's trying to keep Hell's Kitchen from blowing up. And then I love this part. I don't know where they appear. This one's shot. Medic, over here, man. Put those fires out. We don't need a gas man going up a soldier with a voice that could command a god, and he does. Suddenly it's raining and so hard it hurts. Everyone who can falls silent except Matt. The Kingpin, he sent you. Say it. Give me a white. Give me a white. Daredevil, the man is ours on federal authority. Stand back. You have 5 seconds. There's a soft hum. Its computer circuitry generates enough power to level a building and holds it waiting. Not being stupid, Matt backs away. Give me a white. It shows you, Daredevil's a badass, but look how quick the Avengers, 3 most powerful Avengers at the time came in, and I love this, all the other crime families going off on Kingpin, and Kingpin said something, I like this, crazy, Kingpin, you've been crazy ever since you lost your wife. Look, I guess I've been hitting the bottle too, I don't mean to. Snaps his fucking neck. And then we got Matt here, he's in the church, where the sister was helping him, and he realized what he's got to do. And Cap is trying to stop him, but he doesn't. Mysterious killer attacks Hell's Kitchen, dozens dead. Glorious pictures make it just under deadline, and Jameson is so happy he screens for 2 calls. It's a good story. Makes all the right people look terrible. The Kingpin's talking to Joe. Will you contain the story, General, or must I take measure of my own? You can count on my department to render that situation stabilized, Mr. Fix. Sir, you can't. You can't go in there. General, who is this man? Captain, pleasure to meet you. And that's what I love. You know how these things, I mean, really wish I could tell you, Captain, then it's nothing to, I wish I could. The department holds you in house right. I always value your commitment and your loyalty. In this panel right here. I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream. And that there's... I'm so sorry, folks. There's Nuke. Cap hacks in and realizes what's up. Kingpin's getting like some award. And Cap just goes beats the shit out of Nuke. And along with Daredevil, Nuke gets the Daredevil. Daredevil throws him in the cab and hauls ass, and look what he does. He drops Nuke's body off on Ben Ulrich's desk at the Daily Bugle. The next few weeks go poorly for the Kingpin of crime. One of the hitmen placed on the roof of the Daily Bugle names the crime lords responsible for Nuke's assault. Then from everywhere the charges come, from citizens groups and Senate subcommittees, fired by testimony from disgruntled Ex-employees, bagmen, and numbers runners barring away prison sentences, speaking more swiftly than the kingpin can have them killed. In the face of the lieutenants grow sullen and hostile as commands are disobeyed or obeyed but far too slowly. Few of the charges stick. Those that do are skillfully cast into years of litigation. Still in the eyes of everyone except as yet the law, he is a villain. He is shunned, even condemned, by the businessmen who recently cheered him. The law. At least I took that from him. Matt Murdock, he thinks, and plans. My name is Matt Murdock. I was blinded by radiation. My remaining senses function with superhuman sharpness. I live in Hell's Kitchen and do my best to keep it clean. That's all I need to know. All you need to know. And then we get an issue before the storyline starts with Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli are working on it. It's Frank Miller and Denny O'Neil doing the story, David Mazzucchelli and Dennis Janke doing the art. I have not read this. I've read it back in the day. I remember it being decent. Sorry, my nose is dripping a little bit too. I'm going to skip through all that. This is why I got this trade. Look at all the, all this gorgeous ass art from the trade paperbacks, the old ones. The covers recolor without all the logos on because I want that on a shirt. That is just a badass image. Then we get the layouts from Mazzucchelli, like Purgatory. Look at this. I don't know well that's showing up on camera, but just amazing work. And then my favorite part, get to it. And part of the reason why I was so happy to get this. We get the entire script for the last issue, 233. Frank Miller's 30 pages, panel descriptions, and everything. Look at that. Then Ralph Macchio and Frank Miller are given afterward. Both from 87, so that's from the original trade. That's it. I went long, folks. I'm sorry, but I love this book to death. And I'm going to give a shout out real quick. He does not have a YouTube channel. He got one. He don't put anything up. But Dale Roy of Canadian Assault. Go check out his website, CanadianAssaultInc.com. Big metal guy, big comic guy, one of my best friends. He has been on me to go back and reread the Mellow Daredevil. He's like, you need to reread it. I'm like, man, yeah, I read it before. It's good. But, there's other stuff I haven't read I want to read, and he's right. I sat there last night planning on reading a few pages and read the whole thing. And she'll tell you, it's unusual for us to be together, and I'm quiet. I don't talk a lot. But I'm with her, I'm a very talkative. We don't see each other in person often enough, so I'm usually talkative. Last night, I wouldn't say the word. I was quiet as fuck. I was just like, oh. Everyone's like, look at this. Look at that. Look at the stipple. And she's like, yeah, that's pretty. She's over there on her phone playing some game. Because like I said about comics, I'm into the creative process of it too. Like, I love analyzing art and figuring out how they did stuff. It's a story. She's reading and enjoying. And I think part of that might be I just had so many more years of reading comics. I started reading comics when I was about 4 years old, so we're coming up on 45 years, a little bit over 45 years of me reading comics. And there's probably never been a single year past that I didn't buy at least some comics. And a long period of time, there wasn't a week that passed that I wasn't buying comics. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I didn't ramble too long. Thank you. Laters.